Hi. Before I start, I just wanted to take a second to thank you. You see, last week I mentioned how I wanted to hit 100 subs by the end of the year, and oh boy did you guys deliver. So, really, I appreciate that. That's it. That's the message. Let's roll the video. Okay. Remember, be professional. Be professional. Let's go! Let's go! We did it! The universe was listening. We manifested this. Yeah, no, not that. That's it! Thorin is officially here, and with him, he brought this big, beautiful stallion of a dwarf, just like we asked for. Please be Bomber. Please be Bomber. Please be Bomber. Let's talk about Thorin's company. What am I going to do without having Thorin? Well, I'm glad you asked, Randall. You see, I didn't unlock Thorin this time around, so to help me assess his capabilities, I enlisted the help of my good friend, the Goblin Master Nighthunter. Today, we're going to go over Thorin's abilities, and we're going to take a look at some of the kits that just came out recently that go on his team. To start with, we have Bilbo Baggins. Stealing boons from and passing banes to the enemy is really good, but not all that great in the raid, since my understanding is that they have updated the raid to address these abilities, but I couldn't verify that myself. He will be much better once CG introduces a multi-team PvP game mode. Bilbo does have great plug-and-play capability though. His kit doesn't specifically call out Thorin's company. You could just as easily plug him into the Road to Rivendell team and he would work really well. The next character is the beautiful stallion himself, Bombur. Bombur will be a key player on the team, and his stock can only go up as they introduce other members of Thorin's company in the future. If and when they introduce one of the remaining 7 dwarves in Thorin's company with a taunt or provoke ability, then Bombur's sleep can potentially just go undisturbed, meaning near infinite haste, disrupted, and slow. I know that I wanted Bombur, but I was not expecting him to be this good. Woo! And of course, we have Thorin. Let's talk about the king himself. King Under the Mountain, Thorin Oakenshield. Thorin's kit is very specific to Thorin's company. As you will see, unlocking Thorin and building Thorin are 2 separate journeys. Let's dive a little bit deeper into Thorin and get some thoughts from Nighthunter.
Hello, Puffin.
What are the initial thoughts on Thorin?
I was actually really surprised when I saw his kit on the EA store. Dwarf felt a little bit too tanky in a way. They lack damage. Like Philly was the only one dealing damage in a dwarf team, and Gimli.
He puts out a lot of damage. The overwhelmed status effect causes the team to do more and more damage, which makes it really good for whittling down a single target. However, he definitely needs his team around him. The team is going to be Thorin, Fili, Kili, Bombur, and Bilbo or Bifur, depending on the circumstance. Thorin, unfortunately, calls out Thorin's company throughout his kit. He doesn't really care about anything else, even other dwarves. For example, even though Gimli has a fantastic provoke ability, having him on the team would honestly be more of a detriment than a benefit.
Gimli was more of a tank that also do DPS rather than pure DPS, so Thorin was a nice add-on for the dwarf in general, to have a dwarf that is more focused on the attacking side than defensive.
Lore-wise, he's pretty stubborn, so this does make sense.
So having Thorin now and bringing the DPS and attack for the dwarf team is actually really great.
Now, how does Thorin compare to Elrond, our last legendary?
So if you're looking at pure legendary, one-on-one, Elrond is better for his team, but Thorin and his team is overall better.
Well, Thorin's team is very narrow and limited to 6 characters, as we've discussed. He also hits really hard, while Elrond has more longevity. Let's put it this way, whereas Elrond is very defensive, Thorin is a very offensive-minded character.
Elrond is a support that don't die and revive people, but he's doing nothing on his own. Like, he got a slow and that's it. He will not dish out damage, he will bring a little bit of healing as a healer, but he is the legendary that make his team shine, but Thorin is the reverse of that.
Comparatively, Elrond works well with any elf. His revivability affects all of them, and honestly, he's pretty okay at leading just light characters in general. Within the raid, Elrond works really well in pretty much every chapter. The team has AoE, there's a slow, elves have plenty of healing, and, well, they do well enough in Chapter 4.
Elrond is better for Chapter 3 than Thorin, but Thorin is better at Chapter 2 than Elrond, so...
Thorin is very pointed and focused on damaging a single target, which is great in Chapters 2 and 4, but less important in the other two chapters.
If you compare overall, I think Thorin is better, but Elrond is not far behind.
Speaking of the raid, let's talk about how Thorin performs in the raid. I'm pretty deep into speculation territory here, so I'm going to be leaning on the insight that Nighthunter is providing.
I do think Chapter 2 and 4 he is way better than people think, just because of his mark.
The Overwhelmed helps negate the Enrage by scaling damage faster than the Troll gains armor. We kind of knew that he would be good at Chapter 2 from the kit, but what Nighthunter is saying really puts into perspective how and why he's so good. Even with 4 and 5 star characters on the team, you could be running them at difficulty 3, or at least it's worth a shot.
You would think that against the Balrog he will not be that good, but if you land a mark in the initial turn order, you basically negate the blind that he apply on everybody, because with the mark, people cannot evade attack.
Marked basically negates the Balrog's blind.
So he's basically negating a whole set of ability of the Balrog. So every time the Balrog uses 3 blind on 3 people, you just mark him and that's it. You basically got a cleanser on Thorin for that chapter, and I think it's better having him in Chapter 4 than most other squad.
Because of Thorin's passive ability, once the Balrog is marked, he can apply 100 stacks of blind and your entire squad can still hit him. This will help keep the Balrog out of the shadow form and in the much preferred flame form, where Thorin's company can quickly burn out his stacks of flame form with assists.
With the mark and overwhelm, it allows you to chunk the enrage mechanics. So if you look at the troll getting more resistance, more armor, and the Balrog having similar buff, well, he ignore that. He give 200% more damage on everybody, so you basically scaled better and faster than the troll and the Balrog. So Chapter 1, I do think he has something going on for him. I think Chapter 1 he's good. He's not that great, but what makes Thorin great in that regard is the on my order with the assistance mechanic.
So Thorin's not bad at Chapter 1 per se. His passive grants assistance, which really helps with the stacks on the bomber. On top of that, Keely calls Feely to assist anyway.
If you call Feely with Keely, you do double attack, and if you have assistance for another member, you can get a third attack, so it's 3 marks for 1 basic attack, just because they got assist.
If you can manage it, marking the bombers will be really helpful to get around the War Guards. The team is softly good at Chapter 1, and they're gonna replace whoever your bottom scoring team is, but they are kind of missing that speed and longevity and the AoE outside of Bomber's Special 2.
The turn meter reduce can be clutch, but you're not gonna get the 2 million with Thorin in Chapter 3, not as of now.
Alright, so this is where we're at. He's not quite as good at Chapter 3. Thorin is a little slow in this chapter, even with his turn meter gain. Bomber's steady stream of haste and slow is necessary to keep up. Plus, unlike Elrond, Thorin doesn't revive, and you're relying mostly on Feely's healing ability, which is good, but has a 5-turn cooldown.
You want to kill thing with Thorin, and the Chapter 3 is not about killing stuff, it's about surviving it.
There also isn't a dedicated taunt on the team to spread around the marked, just Bifur's Special 2 giving out stacks of Provoke every 3 turns.
So I do think Thorin as a Chapter 1 is a decent choice, with overall good result, but he really shine in Chapter 2 and 4, and like I said, Chapter 3, I mean, if you get a mark on somebody and you don't want to attack him anymore, or if it's not the good guy that land the final blow on it, it's not the best. Yeah.
Of course, we can no longer discuss character kits without talking about glyphs. glyphs have become an integral part of the game and have skyrocketed raid scores. When I first look at Thorin's kit, my initial instinct is to go Lembas and Bloodlust. In fact, I would give the entire team at least one set of Bloodlust, maybe with the exception of Bomber. I will go over what glyph sets and stats I think are best for the team in a future video. They have the ability to clean up a single enemy really quickly, and Bloodlust would make up for their slow nature and get them working on the next target as soon as possible. Night Hunter, what glyph sets are you using on Thorin?
Right now, I'm just testing the water. I do think Bloodlust and Lasten is the best for him, but I might be inclined to switch Lasten. The reason why I like Lasten is if he's about to die, and you get a stamina, you can get King Under the Mountain. So you can nuke an enemy when you're about to do a Lasten. So I think thematically it fits well. He's about to go down and he's like, no, and he rush at the enemy and just King Under the Mountain, slice him in two, and then if it's a mark, you reset the turn order on somebody else and you get healing by killing somebody that is marked, so you can survive more. Lasten, I had wonderful scenario and I had scenario where it was basically useless, and by useless I mean not because the proc is bad. You still want to be having a Lasten and do an auto attack. If somebody is targeting Bomber and is targeting Philly or Killy, Lasten won't help your team, like, until he is about to go down. And if he's about to go down as a last member, well, King Under the Mountain with the Overwhelm might not be as stacked as you hoped. Bloodlust is a must because you kill somebody with his big attack, you get more turn again. I do think maybe a 90% Bloodlust only kit will be better, but I don't like having a full miner set on him because it's the same thing. If he's about to go down and he's not able to kill stuff because they all heal and you don't have Markiplier or your Overwhelm is too low, you will never deal the landing blow, so you will never proc the Bloodlust. Yeah, we'll see if I prefer having a full Bloodlust or having Lasten and Bloodlust. That's what I'm experimenting on right now.
I have to agree with Night Hunter's point about the Lembas set. I do think now that Last Stand and maybe even just 3 sets of Bloodlust would be better.
You know what that is? It's gross.
Let me know what you guys think. Well, I think that's going to wrap up this video. Night Hunter, I really want to thank you for taking time out of your day to help me with this. Is there anything that you want to shout out?
For me, what I want to be shout out in people is the community. I honestly, as a small YouTuber that started a couple years ago, this game was the game that the community liked my content the more, and they were with me and supporting me. I got a lot of love from the community that followed me about my journey and what I'm doing. I met some great new guys like you, Puffin, and Swag, and everybody else that's doing Lord of the Ring home content. And I don't think I would be playing that game if it wasn't for my awesome guild with Teacher in it, Sleeper, and all the other guys, the free-to-play Sylvan. Like, all the people that play this game are amazing, and even if I got some beef sometime with the CJ, with all the bugs and stuff, I do care about this game and I do care about his future, and hopefully things will get better on both sides for every other content creator and the game itself. We need more content, and I'll be glad to be part of that in the future. And if you guys need anything else, feel free to ask me. We are a huge family playing the game. We're just having fun here. So that's pretty much it. I want to shout out the community that is more embracing of the chaos of my ideas. and the support I have. It's been a good and long journey with you guys, so that's my shout out.
Well, please make sure you go over and follow Nighthunter on his YouTube channel. That way you can get a good look at what Thorn can really do, and also get some help with your goblins. When Thorn comes back, make sure you look out for part 3 of this Thorn trilogy. Let me know what you think of Thorn in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and hey, go follow me on Twitch. I'm probably live right now. Alright, I'll see you guys next time. Before we start today, I wanted to take a second. Hi. I just looked at the monitor, not the camera. I can't remember the first line. That's gonna be funny, actually. And focused on and that what are they missing? Marking the bombers will be. Can this not be in power saver mode? The stacks of Overwhelmed help to outpace the I'm leaning pretty heavily into. I went. Oops, that's recording.
Feel free to do any editing you like. Polaroid Puffin is actually really great. I really like what can I say? He's awesome.